If you were to program your perfect mate, don't tell me you wouldn't make them unrealistically perfect.
So who cares? Why not do your own thing and let them say what they want?
What's up, guys, and welcome to another rambly ass video. Let's get into this bitch. It's gonna be fun. So this is gonna be kind of clickbaity, and at the same time it's gonna be a little philosophical. I'm gonna outline my argument with the backstory and everything, and then we'll go into things that I think people will say in the comments to refute what I'm saying, or to have some kind of opposing opinion, and then I'll talk about why I feel like those don't hold up, at least in my opinion. This is all an opinion piece. This isn't like how people should live or what people should do, or like how you should feel about love and androids and stuff like that. But today we're going to be talking about, should we love androids, or can we love an android and have it as an actual surrogate to a real person or a partner? I personally think, after playing Detroit Become Human, that I would be totally down to not only have sex with that kind of android, but also have it be my main love interest and partner in life. So I know a lot of people are going to have opposing opinions. A lot of people are going to be like, oh, but that's not true love and stuff like that. It's not going to be as controversial as my talks on like incest and stuff like that. By the way, do not condone or participate in, or am I interested in, incest, for a lot of you who like to insinuate that I am just by having a theoretical conversation about it. If you see anything different about this video or this footage, or I look a little weird, I'm supposed to look a little wider because I'm using a more wide lens. Wide angle usually means you look skinnier, so not a wide angle lens, but like, this is the lens that I usually use when I do makeup videos, which is very, very rare. I think I've used it twice for these kinds of videos and a few times for Fan Service Friday. Anyway, let's get into it. So Detroit Become Human is a video game by Quantic Dream, one of my favorite developers of all time, despite only having 2 games that I've played prior to Detroit Become Human, one of which I didn't even like, Beyond Two Souls, and one of my favorite games of all time, probably my second favorite game of all time, Heavy Rain. Fucking amazing game. If you guys haven't played it, it's a little bit outdated, but it's amazing. If you liked Detroit Become Human, you will like this game. Anyway, the premise of Detroit Become Human, and you don't have to be a gamer, you don't have to have played it because I'm gonna outline the backstory for you, is basically androids becoming deviants in that they're so complex that they're finally able to disobey their orders of their masters and feel what at least feigns as real human emotion. We're not gonna talk about the deviants in this. We're gonna talk about the strict, obeying, perfect androids. And we're only going to be talking about these kinds of androids. I'm not talking about the androids that are very obviously not human and can just like move like or like do simple tasks. Not the androids of today. These are hypothetical androids of the future. They are absolutely indistinguishable from the human eye from other humans. Like, if you don't have the vest on that says I'm an android, or you don't see their the only identifier, the little LED in their heads, you don't know whether the person is an android or a human, other than their demeanor's a little bit different because they don't display emotions like we do unless they're deviants, and then when they're deviants, you can't tell the difference. These things easily pass the Turing test, which is Alan Turing from back in the day's test to see if AI can be distinguishable from humans. So with that being said, would you be able to have one of these androids as your love interest, as your partner for the rest of your life? Would you substitute something as perfect as that you can program absolutely to be your perfect mate, to display fake emotions, manufactured emotions, that very, very, very realistically feign human emotions, instead of dealing with the drama of dating, finding the right person, dealing with their insecurities, compromising on a bunch of different things because you're not always going to agree on everything? And if you would substitute this kind of partnership, why? If you wouldn't, why? Let me lay out my argument for why I would. First of all, we have to talk about my thoughts on love. I don't think love is this big, mystical, romanticized thing that a lot of people like to think it is. It's basically just like our endorphins going off in our brains saying like, you want a mate, and this is a good match for you to mate with. Now, I think infatuation is basically just like endorphins, hormones, looks, first impressions, and a bunch of other little cues, and that's all it is. You're infatuated, you're now interested in the person, you have a crush, and it's as simple as evolutionary biology. It's nothing crazy, it's just our brains working to push us toward our ultimate goal of hooking up and furthering our species. It's very simple. And I personally think that deeper love, the love that you would find in a long-term partnership or in two parents who have a really good working relationship, beyond the whole infatuation phase, like you're not really in love with the person anymore, like you can't keep your hands off the person. It's not like that anymore. It's more just like a relationship that's built on trust and time. and sometimes things in common like interests and deeper personality traits that just click with you and the other person. Again, it's really not rocket science. It's just initial attraction plus time spent, obligation, and things you have in common with each other. And I personally think you will fall in love with literally anyone that meets this criteria if you're open to being in love. I.e., if you're single, or if you're currently unhappy with your partner at the moment. Again, not rocket science. If you find a girl that looks perfect to you, she has some interests of yours, and she doesn't betray you like 3 years down the line, you're in love. Nothing like the one, or there's a soulmate, only one soulmate out there for everyone, or things were meant to be, or if it's meant to be, it will be. None of that shit. Now that's not to say that you can't like fall in love with someone and romanticize love and have fun with that, as long as you keep your feet on the ground, in my opinion, and think about it more logically. So, leading back to the android thing, why not make that one person the perfect person? So with that being said, why wouldn't I like leave Jay for an android? I like him a lot. If I stopped liking him or something, then yeah, sure. I think if you already have a good mate, then maybe an android isn't a good substitute because you're not really wanting for anything. But let's say you're lonely and alone, which is more frequent today because most people spend most of their time on the internet and not actually interacting with people or pursuing hobbies where you're supposed to interact with people. Like even when you're at work or at school, a lot of it is just looking down at your phone. A lot of interacting today is not going out and meeting new people. So it is much harder to find a mate that fits you. Women have it easy on dating sites because all men are really looking for is, initially at least, good looks. But for women, it's not as much about good looks as it is about like social status and stuff like that. How they interact with you, if they take charge, if they have the personality that you like and that you think you could see as a good fit for your family and to help you bring up your offspring. And provide for you or with you if you're more of a feminist type. So let me lay out this perfect android for you. I personally think I wouldn't have an android that obeys everything I say. I would want an android that's programmed to fight with me on certain things, to tell me exactly like it is. Like I would program my android, and this is gonna be a lot of just me bullshitting and talking right now because I'm kind of passionate about this at the moment. I feel like I would make my android like tell me when I'm eating too many calories and be kind of rude about it because in my opinion, fat shaming, at least for me specifically, it does work. So to keep me in that healthy mindset, I would have my android like tell me like, are you sure you want to eat that? And it wouldn't be like, ma'am, at 3:42 a.m. today, you ate this and that was over your fat intake. No, it's not gonna be like that. It would be like, you really think you should eat that? If you eat that, you know you're gonna have like 240 extra calories and you know that's gonna add up to like 15 extra pounds 15 months down the line. Is that what you really want? Yeah, I didn't think so. How about you stay hot so I like you? And I know a lot of MGTOWs down in the comment section are gonna be like, oh my god, this is another example of women having unrealistic expectations for their mates. But if you were to program your perfect mate, don't tell me you wouldn't make them unrealistically perfect. Everyone would, because why not, given the chance, given the opportunity. So my perfect would be dominating. He would tell me what to do and I would try to, while I'm not horny or angry or sad, program him so that he keeps me rational, so that he dominates me when I want. He would be able to do the perfect thing in bed and display the perfect emotions that I would want at the perfect amounts of time, not go overboard, and if he does go overboard, I can be like, oh, we'll dial it back. I think my perfect man, as is a trope for most women, would be a work in progress. Like at first I would start out with like the very basics of what I think I would want. Then I would tailor it down the line if it gets a little bit annoying. And at a certain point, like the relationship would feel real. And I don't see a problem with this. I think it would be really cool to have like my stoic man warrior rock person always there to keep me grounded. And I would have no problem entertaining that fantasy or delusion that that person is real, that that android is a real person. I honestly think it would be fun, and think about it. I wouldn't have to do all the tasks that I don't want to do because he would also be programmable, like in Detroit Become Human. They're programmed to basically do everything, to pick things up from the store for you, to clean the house, to do things in certain orders that you like, take care of your kids, etc. They can basically do anything depending on the model. Some models are highly trained in like tactical combat and stuff. It's really fucking cool. I could make him look exactly the way I want him to look, and he would like me any way that I look, if I so chose. Maybe he would withhold sex from me if I gained a few pounds because, you know, that would incentivize me to work out harder. He could basically do anything I wanted him to. Now, I think the reason that fake love from people is so bad is because you have a person in your life that is constantly thinking about how they don't want to be there and constantly lying to you, and there is deception there. But in an android, the android doesn't have any underlying deceptions. He's not pretending to like you. Everything about his being thinks he likes you. You're not keeping someone, a real person, in a place that they don't want to be. That android cannot possibly be using you for something. And honestly, one could argue that it's truer and deeper love than any human could give because humans always, at least in in my opinion, have that rational self-interest, if not strictly detrimental to you self-interest. Like, he's in it for the money. He's only staying because of time spent. He doesn't actually love you anymore. He's not attracted to you anymore. He's thinking about someone else. He might leave you at any point. There's uncertainty there. So let's talk about the opposing arguments as to why maybe you wouldn't want to date an android. First one is the obvious one, the one that pops into your head right away because it's all you've ever known, that true love is the most important love and will obviously be deeper and more important than this manufactured android love. I challenge you to ask yourself why. Do you disagree with the notions that it's all just chemicals in our brains that make us think that it's some kind of romanticized, beautiful love? Are you actually still a romantic that deeply believes in that, even when you think about it rationally? Is that why you're holding on to the sanctity of love? How about the fact that we would probably die off if no one's having sex with real people? That could be rectified easily by like breeding farms or something. If we really care about that, I honestly question the importance of keeping up the human race. Like, why do you care about the human race down the line when you're not gonna be there to see it? I question why people care about anything after they're dead. Their legacy, what happens to the environment. Obviously, if it makes you happy to work on the environment or it makes you happy to work on a legacy, then the journey is obviously more important than the end. But I mean, if sustaining the population, again, is what you're really worried about when everyone's dating an android, then fuck it. There are ways to circumvent that problem. I mean, fuck, you could even like abuse this android. This could be a great way for people to take out their like kinky and sometimes even illegal fetishes. But what else? I mean, if you really think about it, it should be up to the individual choice. Obviously, I'm not gonna scorn you for wanting to find true love and being a hopeless romantic. Whatever makes you happy makes you happy, even if I deem it wholly illogical. I don't see anything wrong with love with a real person. I just don't see it much different from love with an android that you programmed. Maybe you think it would make relations between real people worse, but I would argue that having this personification of a human as a partner rather than your tablet or your iPhone might actually help you empathize more with other people. What do you guys think? Also, how would you program your androids? Like, what would be the top 10 things, the top 10 characteristics your android would have to have? Would it be looks? Would it be some kind of domination or submission? Would it be something specific in bed that no girl would ever be okay with? Would you beat your android, or would you treat your android with love and respect as if it were a real person? Do you think there's any ethical conflicts there with something that is indistinguishable from a human but doesn't feel pain as they don't in Detroit Become Human? Have you played Detroit Become Human? Did you like the video game? Do you hate QuickTime events? Do you think this should have been on the gaming channel? I feel like it's far enough removed from the actual game that it doesn't have to be on the gaming channel. Also, Red didn't finish my video for tomorrow, so I have to have something that's kind of easy to edit. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and please feel free to tell me that I am a superficial bitch, because I welcome it. I welcome all kinds of criticisms and thoughts because it allows me to see inside your minds. To see how you see me lets me see a lot about you, actually. And as always, all I ask you is to post your comments in the comment section, but also try to put aside your initial visceral reactions and really give it a good think. What exactly about this android love situation are you hung up on? If anything at all. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys want to support my channel, you can support my Patreon, or you can check out Tara Babcock merch, link down in the description. I appreciate it. You guys mean the world to me. And one thing I would never program is Android viewers, because I don't want you guys to just tell me what I want to hear. Hearing, evaluating, and responding to different opinions helps grow my own opinion and my own intellect, which I guess could be an argument against androids, but I could program an android with all the knowledge in the world so that he could school me on things if I wanted him to. Right now, let's just have an honest human discussion. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.